name is Andre, I'm a tech lead at Prosperi, and today we're going to talk about Copilot. I've prepared this series of short videos to give you an overview on what Copilot is and what can you achieve with it. After watching the videos, I hope you leave with a ton of ideas about the challenges that Copilot can help you solve. We'll take a very straightforward approach. In this first video, I'll introduce you to the series and explain how it will work. In the next one, I'll explain what Copilot is and we'll start exploring how we can use it. After that, I'll demonstrate Copilot using Microsoft Office applications with a hands-on approach. Lastly, we'll create our own Copilot using Copilot Studio. So stay tuned for the next one. So what is Copilot and how can you use it? Copilot is an AI assistant that uses a large language model to interpret what you say. So that input is called the prompt. It processes that information using the pre-trained language model, the LLM, and then writes it back to you. So the beauty of it is that you can use natural language to convey, to ask what you need, and then it writes it back to you. It is really powerful for summarization tasks, for translations, for creative jobs, so data analysis. So you can use Copilot for a lot of things and more as well. So there are different ways to use Copilot, and this first one is, at the current time of this recording, it is the free version. So you can use it by going to accessing copilot.microsoft.com, and then you'll be redirected to this screen where I'm at. You can also access this version by clicking here if you use Microsoft Edge, and then you have Copilot always with you. And you start seeing Copilot everywhere. And I'm going to explain in a bit why is that and what is the differences when accessing Copilot in different ways. And another way to access this version of Copilot is on your cell phone, in your App Store or in your Play Store, depending on your iOS. You can download Copilot. So you can download it there and start using. So yeah, so let's create our first prompt and just going, basically this version here is ChatGPT. So if you already use ChatGPT, this web version is exactly it. So I can ask, what is Copilot? Again, it was pre-trained on internet data and it writes it back to me. So Copilot is an AI powered blah 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 blah. So and you can start going deeper. It has it understands the context. If I want to ask more, I can ask something about what it wrote it back to me, and it has this knowledge and this perception on the history of our conversation. And this is also real nice. So and it tries to help us out here with some prompts, just giving us some ideas on what can we ask. So if we want to write a poem, yeah, that's it. And if we want to get really specific, we can ask it to write a poem about anything. I can also do something like this. So let's say I want to ask a raise for my boss. Please draft me an email for that. And it does. And what's interesting is that we can ask it to do it in a particular way. So for example, probably because it's an email, it started out as something as formal, as professional. But if I want to make it funny, please, it will do it. So this is a funny way to ask for a raise. Okay, so yeah, this, based on our prompts, it writes back to us with exactly what we need. It is also capable of drawing. So if I want, please draw a dog in a treadmill. Not a dog, a poodle. Okay, so it's going to create that for us. Let's see what he brings it back. This should take 5 to 10 seconds. It's coming up. Come on, Copilot. There we have it. So this is our Pluto in our treadmill, and if I want to make it more specific, it will be able to generate that. So this shows that depending on what we prompt, it can gives us the result that we expect. Yeah, I think this was helpful, and I think this shows what Copilot Web can do. And we'll get into Copilot Work, which is Copilot for 365, in the next one. So you might be wondering, what is the difference from web to work in this toggle button here? The web is ChatGPT, as we basically said before, and work is in fact Copilot for Microsoft 365. It uses all of the good stuff we've seen before from the LLM, but now in the company context. So it can access all your emails, your Teams, your SharePoint sites that you have access. So it uses Microsoft Graph API to get you data from the company and help you find out what you need. So for example, let's say I need to write a change request document to a customer. Do you have any template from the organization I can use? And from the organization here is important because this option, it also can search on the web. So if I don't say here, it might search for any template on the web. So, but I want a specific from my company, and it's going to see the files I have access in SharePoint and all of that. It's very important. The security part is very important because it will never answer me something that I cannot access directly. So yeah, so it was able to find me a template, and I can download it and start from there. Great, right? So what I can ask, what is the reimbursement policy of the company? So you know you have this information in your SharePoint sites somewhere, but you just don't remember where to get it and how to get it. So yeah, so it brought to me it's in Portuguese, but I can ask it. Please translate it to English. The original file is in Portuguese, so this is why it brought me in Portuguese. But yeah, it's able to do it with no problem at all. Yeah, that's great. One last thing here, so you can see how we can use it, is list 5 customers of prosperity. Sure. Yeah. So yeah. So some customers here, they were able to get it back to us. There are several things that you can do. You can also start typing slash, and then you can provide more context. So you can search for messages with someone specifically, recap a meeting, ask when you have a meeting with someone. So when is the next meeting you have with that person? So it helps you a lot, and it's really powerful, and it's really amazing what it can do. So yeah, this was Copilot for Microsoft 365. Actually, that's not all about Copilot for Microsoft 365. You can also use it from inside the Office applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and so on. And what is great about it is that it is context aware depending on where you're using it. So if you are inside Excel and you need help in writing a formula, Copilot can help you. If you need help in creating a chart, yeah, Copilot, it's there for you. And so we'll get into that in a bit, but before I'm going to describe you a scenario that we'll be using in all of the Office applications with the hands-on activities. So let's pretend I work for the Human Resources Department and I am in charge of developing a leadership program for the company. So all of what we'll be doing, it will be around the same scenario, okay? So yeah, let's get into it. So let's start with Excel. So we have this dummy data here of employees, and so their first name, their last name, their ID, and their email, and their soft skills. So we use this column here to match the employee ID with the ID from the other table and identify who is who. We have the soft skills and the score. And we are interested here in leadership, right? Because we are developing a leadership program and we need to identify who are candidates for to participate in this program. The funny thing is that I used Copilot to generate this dummy data for me. So it brought me some random first name generator formulas, a random last name, and I just copy and pasted here, dragged and dropped, and it generated these dummy tables for me. It was funny. Okay, so let's open Copilot here and let's start using with our data. The first thing I'm going to ask Copilot to do is I wanted to have here the first name, the last name, and the email in this table as well, because based on only on their ID, I cannot do a lot here. So let's ask that. So how can we prompt that? So please add the first name, last name, and email from the employee table into the soft skills table. Use the ID, use the employee ID and ID to match the records. Because I wanted to understand that this is the column that should be used to get the correct information from the other one. So if you're familiar with Excel, it probably will come up with some XLOOKUP formula for us. So it's thinking. Let's wait a little bit. Should be fast. And yeah, this is it. So it seems accurate. Let's test. So let's see what it brought to us. So yeah, so here are 3 formulas that you can use. We can copy and paste, creating 3 new columns, and of course this is going to work. But we also have this button where we can simulate the changes. So if we hover over, we can see already what's the impact in our spreadsheet. And if we click, it's there. That's great, right? Done. Thanks, Copilot. Okay, incredible, right? So yeah, so let's see. So the person with the ID number 1, it's Mike Smith. And yeah, that's correct. This is incredible, right? So with just natural language, Copilot helped us to create a formula, and it can help us with any formula. So if you have difficulties in Excel, there you go. Copilot is there to help you out. Okay, so let's continue here our challenge, because we need to identify people to participate in the leadership program. Of course, we can just come here, we can filter this out, we can see, oh, these are the 4s and the 5s. So these are the people that we want to bring to the program. But we can ask Copilot as well. So let's remove this. So, and let's ask Copilot. So, who are the people who have a leadership score above 3? Question mark. Let's see if it understands what I'm asking here. So who are the people who have a leadership score above 3? I don't want the 3s. I just want the 4s and the 5s. Okay, so yeah, it's analyzing the data. So these are the people: Davis, Garcia, Brown, Lee, Martinez, and King. If I go back there, let's filter it out again. So 4s and 5s: Garcia, Davis, King, Brown, Lee, and Martinez. Yeah, that's correct, Copilot. Awesome, right? Oh yeah, it can help you understanding your data a bit better, and it can help you to drawing charts as well. So please draw me a pie chart. Oops, a pie chart of the average score per soft skill. Just working on it, understanding your data, making its magic, analyzing, and boom, there we have it. We can add it to a new sheet, and then we can see the labels there. So we can add it to a new sheet, and then we can see, because this was generated from random values, of course they are close one to the other, and the averages will be close as well. So yeah, this was Copilot in Excel. I hope you liked it, and see you in the next one. So how about Microsoft Word? How can we use Copilot for Microsoft 365 to improve our productivity here? Let's think of a scenario that also following that idea of a leadership program organized by HR. Let's say I want to prepare a memo to send to my director selling this idea. So I want to convince him that a leadership program would be beneficial to our organization. So let's start with Copilot. So if I have a license, I can hit Alt I, or I can click here, the Copilot icon, and start describing. I can reference a file, but in this case, I'm going to start from scratch. So help me write a memo to my director. Let's see, I work in the HR department and I want help to write a memo to my director. I want to convince him that a leadership program, a modern leadership program, would be beneficial to our company. So it will get the structure of a memo, and it will get the information from the LLM, and it brought us something. Let's see. So yeah, I can replace the name, my name, the date. Okay, so this is a typical memo structure, a rationale. Okay, so it talks about today's fast-paced and ever-evolving business environment, the key benefits of this program structure, and a conclusion. Let's keep it. And please notice one thing. It is called Copilot for a reason. This is not autopilot. It helps you. It not solves. It does not finish your work, right? So you have something to start. And then from here, you can tailor and polish it. Of course, you can keep Copilot iterating it over and over, asking it to be more specific on what you need. If you want to highlight one benefit that you know up front, if you want to write in a different fashion, or make it more compact, or if you want it to be longer than that, you can keep talking to Copilot, and it will be improving the response over and over. I think this is good to demonstrate the possibilities here. You can have a lot of help in writing Word documents with Copilot. I think this is good for what we are for our intention here for the leadership program. This is I'm okay with that for the Copilot. I think this is it. This was Copilot for Microsoft Word, and see you in the next one. And what about Microsoft Teams? How can Copilot for Microsoft 365 make my meetings more productive? This one is my favorite. This one is by far my favorite, being honest. And there are basically two things that's done here that I find it brilliant. The first thing is the meeting recap. So I recorded this meeting with my colleague. This of course is a fake meeting about the leadership program. We did it in Portuguese, but I can ask questions in English as well. So if I come here to recap, and only people who have access to Copilot that will be able to see what's inside here. So here you can see the speakers. This was a meeting of only me and him, but it's good when we have a large audience and you see who is participating the most in the meeting and who is participating the less. So you can it's a good feedback, because you might think, is that person relevant to the meeting? Maybe they should not be there. Of course, if they are only listening and it's important for them to be there, but some meetings, some people don't need to be in all the meetings, and this is a good insight that you can evaluate to account for future meetings. You can see when someone said something, and the dynamics of the meeting separated into topics, and you can have meeting notes as well. So here I have two levels of what we discussed. To generate this, you need to have the transcriptions turned on for the meeting, because it uses the transcription to get what you to get the summary and the meeting notes, and if there's any follow-up tasks, any action that's left to any member of the meeting, it will list and not only say what's pending, but who is responsible for that based on what we discussed. And this is brilliant. I think, as I said, this is my preferred. This is my favorite feature for Copilot by far. And we can also ask questions about the content of the meeting. So, what Rogerio thinks about the program. So I was asking some questions before the recording. I was asking, list different perspectives by topic. So the different topics it was able to identify, and then based on our perception, it brought us, and even with some time reference, where we click, we can go to the meeting and watch that part. So Rogerio has expressed several thoughts about the program. So focus on city leaders, program engine, international support, and participation and graphics. So this is what he discussed. Again, this was a meeting that we had in Portuguese, and Copilot is able to translate and bring it back to us in English here. So as I said, LLMs are great for translation, but they are great also for summarization, for a lot of good stuff. And this is the one I'm the most excited about. But yeah, so this was Copilot in Teams. Not only that, there's a cherry on the top. So if you are late for a meeting and then you enter the meeting, you can ask, what was discussed before I arrive? And Copilot will get you up to speed and you continue the meeting from there. Great, right? So, okay, so this was, now that's it. Now let me finish this one, because otherwise I can keep talking and talking about this one. This is my favorite one. Now let's cover Microsoft Outlook. In Outlook, you have two features for Copilot. You can draft with Copilot, or you can get coached by Copilot. The coaching option is, as you type, it provides you feedback, continuous feedback, and suggestions on how to improve your message. And with the draft, it starts the message for you. So what do you want to say? What do you want this email to say? So let's say that our memo was approved. So we sent it to the director, and he gave us the freedom to start the leadership program, and we want to communicate our 5 candidates, our 5 selected, actually they are selected, right, from Excel, our 5 selected people, that they were the ones selected, and they will be taking part in the leadership program. So I want to communicate to let's try doing something. If I come back to Excel, and if I do like this, let's see, I want to communicate to those 5. Yeah, and it's even though this does not seem correct, Copilot's really smart. I'm sure it will be able to identify. I want to communicate to blah 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 blah, that the leadership program, that the leadership program was approved by the director of HR, and that they were the ones selected to participate. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, as I said, so it was able to identify even from that block of text, and generated the message for us. So, hello, people. I hope this message finds you well and in great spirits. I am thrilled to share some exciting news with you. After much anticipation, the leadership program has been officially approved by the director of HR. And here's the best part. You have been selected to participate in this prestigious program. Your dedication, hard work, and leadership potential have not gone unnoticed, and so on. So yeah, so as you said, as we said, so we have something to start our email, and actually this one is pretty decent. I would send like this, but if there's anything I want you to change the tone, to make it shorter, to I don't know, let's try make it shorter. There's anything you would like to provide a feedback, it keeps generating versions for you. So yeah, so this would be a very concise version. You see? Yeah, so this was Copilot for Outlook. So now, to finalize this Copilot for Microsoft 365 part, let's use Microsoft PowerPoint to show Copilot's capabilities. We can always use the Copilot here in the ribbon, but I prefer using this one here directly inside the presentation. We can ask Copilot to create a presentation about something, and then we type it out, we describe what we want. We can ask from a file, so we could use that memo we created in Word to have a presentation for us, or we can use a PDF or other file types, or we can ask Copilot to do something in these presentations. So if you want to change something, if you want to summarize to understand what this presentation is about, if you want to ask for suggestions, this is the option for you. Let's start with something, then we can use this option. So let's say I want create a presentation about the leadership program, the modern leadership program that was approved to start. This presentation is targeted towards the participants of the program. Please make it engaging and uplifting. Let's see if it comes with bright colors and cool images, but I want to review the content as well. So yeah, so create a presentation about the modern leadership program that was approved to start. This presentation is targeted. Okay, so this will be the kickoff presentation of the program. Okay. So generating presentation topics, gathering ideas. So this is what we'll have. This is a draft. Welcome and program overview, key components, the expectations and responsibilities for the participants, meet facilitators and mentors, the benefits and opportunities, and the next steps and getting started. So this looks good for me. We can rearrange if we want. We can add more sections here, but I'm okay with that. Let's generate slides. So crafting a compelling narrative. I don't know if you read it, but I found that one funny. Adding titles to slides. So usually it's created with a lot of slides, but then we can ask it to make it shorter with that Ask Copilot option. Let's see. So yeah, so warm welcome. So we can see here how many slides there will be. Questions and open discussion. Yeah. Okay. So creating. Pulling together. Okay, so let's change it to another view. This one, what's awesome is that it also creates notes for you. So if you're going to present it, you have not only the slides but the notes. So yeah, but no, I want to see the normal view. So we have the slides, the start, the welcome and the program overview, a warm welcome and introduction, the objectives and goals, and the meeting, the pictures, they are related to the content. This is brilliant. Overview of the program, key components of the leadership program. So yeah, this is it. This is great. This is great. I'll keep it. I won't change much, but I want to use Copilot to ask something. Let's see. So let's ask, for example, if I don't know what's this presentation about, I can ask it to summarize. Oh, I do have it here. So summarize this presentation for me. Or show key slides in this deck. So yeah, so it was able to generate with a few sentences, few bullet points, what's this about. So if you need to use a lot of your time looking at presentations, you can use this feature so you can gain time with it. You can save your time. Yeah, so this one is really helpful. So Copilot in Microsoft PowerPoint, it's also one of my favorites. Teams is the number one, but this one is number two for me. So yeah, awesome. I hope you liked it. And in the next one, we'll create our own custom Copilot in Copilot Studio. And now let's talk about Copilot Studio. In Copilot Studio, you can do mainly two things here. You can create your own custom copilots, or you can create actions to extend the functionalities of Copilot for Microsoft 365. So for example, if you want Copilot for Microsoft 365 to connect to Jira, ServiceNow, or any other system, or not even needing to have an integration with other systems, but if you want to do it something in a particular fashion with some instructions of some kind of prompt, you can create actions and then use these actions inside Copilot for Microsoft 365. But we'll not be doing this today. We'll be creating our own custom Copilot that will be able to call it from an external website or from Teams, or actually there are several channels that we can publish our Copilot to be used later on. Before we create our own, let me use this one, which is from the template library, to show you what's inside the Copilot here in Copilot Studio, and then we'll be creating our own Copilot. Our own Copilot. You have realized, probably you should have realized that this is inside the browser, so you don't need to install anything to create our own Copilot. Just go to copilotstudio.microsoft.com and you'll be accessing this portal here. So you have the name of your Copilot, what it does, and this is important, the instructions. The instructions, you can set the tone, you can tell what this Copilot can talk about and what it cannot talk about. So this is like the system message that it's always take this into consideration when answering it back to the users. So please do this with care. Like do not overlook this part here, the instructions. There is the knowledge part where you can point and say what sources your Copilot will be able to use to use generative AI capabilities to extract the information and provide a good answer. In this case here, there are 3 external websites, public websites, but you cannot only add a website. You can add a mix of websites, database tables, SharePoint sites, files that you upload, and so on. You can create topics, and topics are conversation paths that your Copilot will take with the users. So if you want to redirect a user to a specific knowledge based on what they ask, you can do this. So for example, if they ask about sustainability, in this case, you want them to be sure that they will be redirected to this website. So you can create a topic for that, and then based on some trigger phrases, you can catch that and point that user to that knowledge with a generative answer node. This is the action part where you can start using an action. So if you create an action, you can use not only in Copilot for Microsoft 365, but in also other Copilots as well. Okay, so before we create our own, let's just use this just to see how it goes. This in the right here is a test panel that you can use, and in this case they have provided us some 3 sample questions. We can always ask something we can describe, but in this case let's ask this one. Should be easy because it's a sustainability app, and then a sustainability Copilot, and then it brought us what we wanted to know, right? Okay, so this is it. This was one from the template library, but now let's create a new one. So when we create, we have the option to create one from scratch or selecting a template. In this case, I will start a new one. When we're starting a new one, we can use Copilot to help us create our own Copilot. So this is a Copilotception. You can skip it to configure, then you do all of this manually, but this is just a wizard, a conversational way that you can configure your own Copilot. So in a few sentences, how will your Copilot assist your users? So it will act as a hub for leadership guidelines. Users will be able to use it to ask for, users will be able to ask for leadership specific information, and the Copilot will answer based on some files I'll upload. Okay, so what instructions should your Copilot have? Let's make it short. Let's make it quick. So please answer in a professional tone. I could talk more about instructions, but let's keep it short. Otherwise, this video will get very long. Okay, any information from a public website? No, I'm okay with that. So I can continue talking with it to configure my Copilot, but I'm okay with it. Let's create with what we have, and then we continue there. In fact, everything that we did in the conversational chat, we could have done here as well. So here the instructions, the description. So this is, we could have skipped and created here. So while it loads up, let me explain you about one thing. Knowledge. We'll add some knowledge, and let me do this first because it will have some loading time. So I'm going to select those documents that I have created using Copilot, of course. I'm going to, one tip I'll share with you is, when you see description, instruction, or anything that you can describe the things that you put here inside Copilot, don't overlook this. Write this with good quality, because it uses this information to understand what can it find in different files. So yeah, so use it well. In this case, I'm going to keep it just for the time's sake, but I'm going to add. It's uploading my files. Okay, but even they're here, but they're not ready yet. I'll show you in a second, in a bit. But I wanted to comment on this. So if the default option is making this enabled, but I would advise in this case to make it disabled. And what does it do? If you keep it enabled, it will not only search your files, but also the information that was trained in this LLM. So if you, basically it will use information from all over the internet. So if I ask about something about leadership, sometimes it will bring me to my files, and sometimes it might take me back to the websites. Okay, so not websites that I explicitly add here, because this is something I can do as well, but the websites that were used to train the LLM. When I add knowledge, I did this quick. I chose upload files, but as you can see here, I can also search in public websites, SharePoint sites, and Dataverse tables. So I can ask information about my data, ask information about files that are inside my SharePoint sites, and configure it quickly. For the topics, we have some ones that were created automatically, and we'll go there right now. First, let's see if the knowledge is, I said it's still in progress. Should take 1 or 2 more minutes. While it's loading up, let me talk about topics. So every time you create a new Copilot from that option, that new from scratch, it comes up with three sample topics that I advise you turning them off, because otherwise if you ask something and there's a chance of conflicting it with those topics, because there is something called trigger phrases. So if I open this or any of those topics, you see here that there are some triggers that will take the user to this conversational path. So even if they do not ask exactly like this, if they ask something with this close to this or with this meaning, Copilot will understand that this is the topic that needs to be triggered, that has to be triggered, and then the user will experience what this topic is describing here. So first, the user would receive a message from the Copilot, and then the Copilot would ask a question: which location are you interested in? Again, this is just a standard sample topic that comes every time you create one Copilot. So then the user will be shown three options that they would select one of these three, and based on what they select, there will be conditions. So if they select one thing, and because I turned this off, the variable was removed from here, but then the variable would be here as a condition, and then depending on what they chose, either Redmond, Seattle, or Kirkland, then they would fall under these three. Let me do this the correct way. Let me go back and let me activate it, so you see what I mean. Okay, so now because it's activated, you see. So after the user selects the option from the question, then it's stored in this variable that was created here, and then depending on what is the variable, they compare with Redmond, Seattle, or Kirkland, and the user will be displayed another message. So yeah, so basically this is how PVA, Power Virtual Agents, used to behave, and Copilot is an evolution of that. So this is why this is kept, and this is really useful in some cases when developing your own Copilots as well. So it's useful to have this yet, but what made PVA Copilot is this node here called generative answers, where you can search for the information in the knowledge, and then it facilitates a lot this chatbot building experience. Okay, so let me go back now. Let me deactivate it back again, and let me just talk about one extra topic, which is the conversational boosting topic. You saw that there are some custom topics, but there are also system topics. When you start a conversation, when you end a conversation, when you want to escalate to a live agent, and this one, conversational boosting. This one is triggered when the Copilot doesn't know which topic to trigger. So there are the trigger phrases that try to match what the user types with the topics, but when the Copilot does not understand the intent, it brings the user to this conversational boosting. And here, by default, it uses the generative answer node, which I shown, using all of the data sources. So it's going to search all of them. If I want to select only specific ones, I can select here, or I can create a specific topic for each data source and so on. So, okay, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it like this. It will work because I have my knowledges ready. And let me ask something. So, for example, what are some good decision making, how can I ask this, but give me, I want to learn, let's do this, I want to learn more about decision making in leadership for leaders. Fine. Okay. So it will try to find information in all those files. So it brought this content, and as we can see, it's fairly relevant from what I asked. So you can find information from your files, from your sites if you have. In this case, there are only files. But then we could have this knowledge base. We can publish to teams, for example, and users can use this on Copilot to ask leadership questions. So it's simple as that. So of course, this can get more robust, more complex, with more actions, with more, you can call power automate flows and do some fancy stuff. But to get value out of it, it's really quick that you can create a Copilot, point it to some websites, to some files that you have, some knowledge that you have, and then let the LLM work, let the large language model understand what the user prompts and brings back with a correct content for the user to be to solve what the user needs, to answer what the user wants. Okay, so this I think this is a good starting point for Copilot Studio. Of course, this can go very in depth, but it's not the purpose of this video series. So I'll stop here, and I hope you were able to gain something from it. You were able to learn something. I want to thank you all for joining me in this journey with Microsoft Copilot. Your participation was invaluable, and I hope you find this informative and helpful. So until next time, take care and keep exploring Microsoft Copilot.
We hope this video has provided you with a solid introduction to becoming more familiar and comfortable with Copilot and all the amazing ways it can simplify and enhance your work.